folks, we're back, and we'll pick up where we left off as we're discussing the list of people that we find to be dreadful. And now for his second appearance on the list is Joe Biden, this time for his foisting the disaster called Bidenomics on our country. Then the entire Massachusetts legislature,
Gutless.
for all they do to us and what they fail to do for us. Yes, truly they can be described as corruption incorporated. And no list would be complete without Senator Elizabeth Warren, Oklahoma's gift to Massachusetts, a genuine, walking, talking, fake Cherokee Indian. Then we have John Kerry, most arrogant stuffed shirt phony ever to dance across the Massachusetts political stage. The FBI, corrupted by political appointees and not to be trusted with anyone with a half a brain. The IRS, see FBI above, it's the same deal. The cast of The View, poisonous vipers and haters all. Alejandro Mayorkas, the Secretary of Homeland Security, who has said many times the border is secure. What a lie. That's my bunch.
That's a good bunch.
We had a good crossover. We did, and we also agreed on something.
I did miss a couple of sports people.
Oh boy.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
Oh, God almighty.
You cannot have an interview with the Dallas Cowboy without him either being in the background or in the foreground.
And the second one, I don't know his first name. It's the kid of Al Davis that owns the Raiders. Not only weird, but obnoxious, just like his father was.
Yeah, Al Davis was a beauty.
Oh.
And the kid is following in his footsteps
He
just fine.
dresses like he's on the set of some fantasy production someplace. And
Yikes. I want to do the little blurb on InBev. They're the folks that make Bud Light, Budweiser, and a bunch of other brands.
a whole bunch of brands.
Whole bunch of brands, is right. So, Michel Doukeris, this is the CEO. He said, people do not want to enjoy their beer with a debate. They want beer to be simple, beer to be for everyone, and beer to be enjoyable as they share it with their family and friends. He said, consumers want the company to focus its marketing on things that appeal widely, such as the National Football League, music, and helping military families. We continue to learn and we continue to move forward with the main activities we know that work everywhere, he added. Is there a more mealy-mouthed apology for this stupidity than this guy just uttered?
No, there's not. I don't like people like brewers, food producers, whatever it is, getting out of their lane. Stay in your lane. Produce the best beer that you can make at the best price, and don't worry about the politics. Don't worry about somebody else's problem. Don't worry about, just do what you're supposed to do. You know, it'd be like Kellogg's cereal suddenly getting involved in Black Lives Matter or something.
Or you and I putting on tutus and trying to do the ballet. That would
Just
be
stay in your
awkward.
lane, do your job, and everybody's happy and everybody's better off.
Yeah.
When you meddle, you just stir the pot. That's all you're doing.
Somebody at Anheuser-Busch sold some of the people in the ad agency or in marketing that let's do this.
And they get feeling so superior and so smart.
Yeah.
We are better. We think better than the rest of the world. So our opinion is going to matter.
Look how broad we are. We want everybody to drink Bud Light. So let's just encompass everyone in our happy family here. Well, let me tell you something. There's people that don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Like about 90% of their Bud Light fans.
They took Beck's, one of a world-renowned beer,
Yep.
and turned it into swill
Yep.
just by cheapening it. That's what you should not be doing. You should be concentrating on keeping those brands.
They did the same thing with Heineken, too.
Another
Yeah.
one. And they tried to get a hold of Molson and Coors, but they quickly jumped together and said no. We're going. And then of course Guinness. They want Guinness, and Guinness won't even talk to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But what is it that possesses these people to think that they're social commentators?
Well, look at Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a guy. He acts for a living, or girl. I don't care. A woman or man, doesn't matter. They act. All they do is imitate somebody else. But all of a sudden, we're supposed to look up to them as some of the smartest people in the world. You see them on talk shows. They've got these opinions about this, an opinion about that. I ain't saying you can't have an opinion, but don't put it out as the gospel.
They're puppets.
Yeah.
Okay? And their sole talent, besides looking pretty, is they can memorize their lines.
When they pretend they're somebody that
Yeah.
they're not. That's all it is.
That's it. To me, they're talentless, empty-headed buffoons for the most part.
At one time, years ago, if a girl came home and said, "I'm dating an actor," the father would say, "Oh no, you're not.
That's right. You're not as right.
You're not getting involved with that bunch."
Yeah. The Hollywood bunch, and now the corporations too.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, which brings up a subject, I loved beer. But with the onset of type 2 diabetes,
Yeah,
that was the end of my
Everybody
beer drinking
changes. I end
career.
up with a hiatal hernia. And I can't stand the effervescence.
Yeah. And I drank Miller High Life.
I
That
always
was
liked
my
Miller.
beer of choice. And when I could find it, Sam Adams Original Lager on draft.
Yeah, good beer.
Totally different than bottle beer.
Yeah.
Those are my two favorites. To me, I tried light beer, Bud Light and Miller Light. It is beer for people that don't like beer. There's no beer to us. Bud Light is water, just pure water. There's nothing to it.
Of all the lights, domestic light, I think Miller Lite's a little bit better than the rest of them.
There's some taste to it, but I didn't like
Still,
the taste.
it's still like taking a glass of beer
Pouring
and
water.
or 3 or 4 ice cubes in it.
And that is exactly what they do. They just put extra water in it. That's what makes it light. Yeah. So this is insanity. I don't understand Bud Light drinkers. There's no beer taste to it.
No, it doesn't.
It's for women and kids.
Kids.
Yeah.
Kids and dogs.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just me. But this fuss over it is very amusing because this is not the beer that you close your eyes and think of the drinkers, big hairy chested guys with big muscles and ripped t-shirt and haven't shaved for a week, but it's not. It's more for refined sippers, I think.
Yeah.
Imagine if they had really attacked Budweiser. Now there's the guys that drink beer. They would have reacted, I think, totally worse than the boycott of Bud.
Bud Light, I think, is far outsells
It does.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
And when that came out, I thought, hey, this stuff is never going to fly. It's never going to. But I see. I don't. You're not hurting Anheuser-Busch really by not buying their product at this point. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're giving up something that, whether you ordered a Bud Light or didn't order a Bud Light, it's not going to make a damn bit of difference down the road.
Nope. When you look at their international business, their business was actually up a tad last year. So that's, but it's really hitting them hard, though, in that they're weeding out the people
Oh, absolutely.
that grabbed the company and turned it in this direction.
The corporates don't like that.
No.
They don't like that at all.
No. You know what? This business about gender identity and changing one's sex is not a conversation for a beer company to be having
To
with
even
the
get
American
into it.
public.
Well, why would you even tread there? Why would you want to go there?
So, because you know what? They said to themselves, there's maybe a little bit of a market over here that we're not, addressing. Why don't we do that? And we'll bring in lots more liberals or whatever. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but boy, did they misfire.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay for this for a while longer, yes. The numbers, they look at rolling 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Comparing to the same 4 weeks of the previous year. Last week, Bud Light sales were down 34% versus the previous year.
Previous year, yeah.
Now that's even worse than it's been one. It was like 30% worse. So this is not turning around.
They know eventually it's going. I don't think there's ever been a boycott that didn't wear out eventually. So you just unless it would drive you into bankruptcy, which is not going to happen.
Not going to happen. They get deep pockets.
Yeah.
So we talked about, Dwayne and I talked about what are going to be the key factors in the 2004 presidential election.
24.
2024, right. Thank you.
Yeah, close enough. What's 20 years here?
Yeah, give or take. So I said to Dwayne, I said, make a list of what you think will be the key factors in this upcoming election. And arrange it by order of importance. And that was the fun part. Took me about 20 minutes to arrange
I
it.
don't know about the importance, but some of them are up there. But you want mine?
Yeah.
I got 10.
Okay.
Age, fitness is going to be right on the top.
I got number one. That's my number
Between
one.
the two of them. Economy and employment is going to be number 2.
My number 2.
Because it affects everybody. Social Security and Medicare are third rail items. You better not. You don't want to touch them. You don't want to get. Because the quickest way to lose an election is say, we got to cut back Social Security. We got to cut back Medicare. You're gone.
We'll get the Simpson-Bowles report
Yeah.
that gives us a roadmap on how to fix Social Security and Medicare, and those buggers down in Washington will not take that up and talk about it. Because you know why?
They won't even talk about fixing it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to. They don't even want to mention it, unfortunately, because Social Security is so easy to repair.
It is. I mean, they did it on 2 pages, for heaven's sakes. But the problem was, Simpson was a Republican, and
Yep.
Bowles was a Democrat.
Well, see, we've
This
done
has got to be a total Democrat deal.
when we got the Biden-Trump going. We were so divided. We would send the country down the tubes before we'd give credit to the other side.
That's right.
It's sad, but
It
that's,
is.
that's the threat that we're living under right now.
We have a hatred in this country
Yep.
that's unbelievable.
Because that's my next one is you're going to see criminality of candidates, and that's both sides. You're going to see the Hunter thing show up. You're going to see Trump's multi problems show up. Immigration, which is a problem, but I don't see it as the problem that everybody think. Oh my God, we got so many thousands coming across the border. Well, they've been coming across the border for years.
We don't see them. But boy, I'll tell you what, you see those pictures of New York every day,
Yeah,
and Los Angeles every day, and the border every day. This is a real problem.
it's a problem, but it's not insurmountable. As far as the immigration goes, if you want to seal the southern border, seal it. But don't pretend you're going to build a wall and then Mexico's going to pay for it, and then you build 20 yards or 20 miles and then say, well, I did it. It's somebody else's fault now. Either do it or shut up. That's the bottom line. There's a lot of countries that got sealed borders. There's
Of
no,
course.
so just do
If
it.
you don't have borders, you don't have a country.
That's right. You don't have a country. But do it and shut up.
Again, Republicans and Democrats button heads.
Yeah. Won't let anybody else
Nope.
get any credit for it. And I think infrastructures should be or will be coming up
Okay.
because we're falling apart.
Yes, we are.
We are falling apart. Look at it. Hardly a time goes by where some railroad doesn't collapse someplace, and the tank cars are laying all
How
over.
about roads collapsing?
Roads collapsing,
Yeah.
bridges are in terrible shape. All that stuff, you cannot ignore it anymore. You got to get it on. I don't know if this is going to show or not. Yeah, it'll come up. That's wokeness.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna
Yeah,
be there.
that's going to be up.
And down towards then you're going to have student debt's going to raise its head again. And that's a sore spot with me. I can't read my own shorthand here.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
I don't know. Affirmative action is another one.
Okay.
We're taking a big look at now finally affirmative actions. I got some stuff here from colleges that it really.
Do you realize something that's way off the subject, and we'll get right back on the subject here, but there's like 139 colleges that have still got COVID restrictions for their students.
Right.
They have to wear masks and all that stuff. What? Are we crazy?
I don't know.
Ah. Is that your list, partner?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
If this one pops up here, I have no idea. A GW issue. I don't know what the hell that was. I knew when I wrote it,
maybe.
but it's on the bottom. So
Maybe. With my list, maybe it'll be on my list.
All right.
And you'll say, ah!
that was it.
All right, so I get age and fitness as a qualification for president, the economy, jobs. Then I have inflation, gas and food prices and heating oil,
Yeah.
crime,
Yep.
border security,
Yep.
immigration, illegal people, and fentanyl. 6, homelessness, street people. 7, a failing education system. 8, health care, cost and quality.
Yep.
9, fix Social Security and Medicare. 10, restart fossil fuel production. 11. Our military, understaffed and in need of modernization with more weaponry. 12. Loss of respect for the police. 13. By the way, they shoot themselves in the foot too. I mean, drug addiction. Need for drug rehab hospitals / prisons. You're not going to take convicts, put them in hospitals, cure them, and then put them back out on the street. They need to have prison hospitals for drug abusers. Number 14, parents' rights with regard to school systems. Parents should be running things, not phony administrators. Get more administrators than they have kids in some schools.
Oh yeah.
Man.
One of your biggest expenditures in the university system are administrators.
Yeah. Racial relations in our country are not improving. The melting pot is not melting. Political corruption at all levels of government, Washington down to our smallest towns. Anti-Semitism. Ocean pollution needs addressing. Clean drinking water is not available everywhere. And number 20, climate is changing somewhat. We need to consider better ways to do some things, but the whole world must be on board, not just the U.S. and Europe.
Yep.
You didn't figure out GW, huh?
George Washington?
But you know, some of these things are worthy of us talking about. But in fact, I'm going to cull this list and pick out half a dozen things for us to talk about next time. I think that we need to talk about.
I think that's affirmative action. The last decision with the Supreme Court, I agreed with that one totally.
Well, let me tell you something.
Affirmative action, particularly in the education system, really irritated me.
So, what we're saying is that we now have got colleges and universities now must become colorblind when they are sorting through applicants for college. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
But they're already looking for ways around it. So this decision with affirmative action not only took affirmative action into consideration, it took things like legacies. If your father or your grandfather went to Harvard, would you get special treatment? And right away, you know, Harvard particularly, we don't do that. We do baloney, they don't do that. Here, Wesleyan College. Now, I don't like reading stuff, but this is just a little paragraph.
Let's have it.
Their response. Now, this is hypocrisy. It says, Wesleyan University ends legacy admission. Then it says in the article, moving forward, all family members of Wesleyan alumni will be admitted on their own merit. Ross said in an interview Wednesday afternoon, the decision does not include children of donors, but Ross said that only children of donors who are academically qualified will be granted admission. Well, you've got to remember, every kid that applies to that university, just like Harvard, is academically qualified. Almost all these kids that apply are salutatorian or valedictorians of their class. So they're all qualified. Yet the ones from the children of legacy are going to get priority treatment. But the university says, yeah, but we only let them in if they're qualified. But every one of them's qualified.
Yeah, I don't have a knot in my neck about legacy applicants. It seems to me that if their family has supported that university generously at times, very generously.
Well, that's the whole problem here, is that it's
and
buying their way
helped
in.
build it up, and they built a wing, they built a medical facility and stuff like that. They're adding to the value of the experience of going to Wellesley College. And it seems to me that if their kids are qualified, there should be a side door for them to come
I
in.
don't see that at all.
Yeah.
You're putting the kid in the side door because Pop's got money. You're putting the kid over here shutting the door because Pops didn't have money.
Yes, but
The qualifications they got to be the same, because you wouldn't even apply if you weren't top qualified. And if you're gonna do it right. Don't say yeah, but. Don't say yeah, but. All right, if you give us $100 million, Harvard doesn't need it. They have a
billions.
Billions of dollars.
36 or 38
These people
billion.
don't need money.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's not a matter that these people are just existing.
But you know what, Dwayne? That college had to start. And it probably started in a 3-room house.
Well, of course it did.
All right, a shack.
That's
And
right.
people graduated and they gave back to the
them, that's
university
right.
that gave them the education. And then when it came time for their kids to go, I had a wonderful experience at that college. I want my kids to have that same experience.
Would they give the money if the college said no? Your kid can't
They
come
usually do. It's usually after the fact. They're usually giving money, all the fundraisers, and have been very generous
I
to the
just
school.
don't see that there's any fairness. It's hypocrisy to say, all right, we're going to eliminate affirmative action, but yet you do it on the other side. 'Cause you're doing it. You're just simply doing it. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I can live with being a hypocrite on that issue.
I say if you, I take these colleges, universities that got so many seats, let the best qualified person get them. I don't care if you're green, yellow, blue, or if your father went and your grandfather went, or you built a wing. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference.
So let me ask you a question,
Yep.
but let me find it first.
Harvard was afraid they'd become so full of Asians that they wouldn't be right anymore.
Oh,
Well, is that racist or is that racist?
well, there certainly is something to be said about that. I gotta talk about that and that. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, here we go. Well, fully. They, well, there was a,
Just summarize then.
yeah, I don't know. I found something else on.
Okay.
After 46,000 years, worms have come back to life.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, in the permafrost
Yeah.
in Siberia, or Antarctica, or the Arctic
Yeah, it
Circle.
was
The
someplace-
Russians.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they brought these guys back to life.
I saw that article in the paper.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing, is right. A picture of the ugly little spuds.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Um,
I think University of Texas or somebody's got them, and they're doing the.
yeah, yes, there. Some Russian cooperation with the U.S.
Yeah.
on that.
Well, there is still cooperation
Yeah,
going on
with
in certain
Some
areas.
of the areas.
It's not like the paper put or did you news.
Well, are you planning on going down to Provincetown
Uh-huh.
for the Pride celebration? Because I want to give
Is that
you some.
over or is that still coming?
No, it's the week of August 12th through the 19th.
Oh, that's what I got in the calendar with all the colors on it.
So I just want to give you a heads up. The centerpiece of it all is the annual Carnival Parade, stepping off at 3 p.m. on August 17th. Winding its way down Commercial Street from the Harbor Hotel in the East End to the Guard Station in the West End, the parade draws more than 150,000 guests.
Oh,
Now, you've been to Provincetown.
yeah, many times.
150,000 people.
It's going to be wall to wall.
If you went down to Provincetown on a weekend and there was 2,000 people down there, South Seas, it would be wall-to-wall agony.
Yeah, it's busy, very busy.
Where are you going to
I
put
don't know.
150,000
I
people?
think that's hyperbole.
Can you imagine the traffic jam afterwards?
And if they're coming from distance, where the hell are they going to stay?
Where are you going to park?
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to have to park, what, 15 miles away
Yeah.
and walk?
yeah. Those kind of articles are.
This has
Self-
got, this is self-defeating. If they were looking to get people to come, and somebody read this article, they'd say, no way in hell am I going to that.
Speaking of which,
Yes.
Channel 4 has got a commercial with David Wade,
Yep.
and he's in Dorchester for the Gay Pride Parade. Take a look at that commercial. There's nobody there. The sidewalks are empty. He goes and he interviews a couple people, and look in the background. There's somebody going out of a store, and they're not even paying any attention. He can't get any interest in it, and they're jumping up and down, and they're so excited. I said to Monica, "There's nobody there."
When they went through south of you, do you think there was anybody there too?
No.
No. It's right.
In fact, I watched the parade. One of the channels had it on for an hour just to see who was going to turn into a freak show. It was nothing. There was very few people. There wasn't a lot of people, and there was nothing there. There was no, somebody in a car with a sign written on the side of the door or something. It was just boring as hell.
I don't know. All I know is I'm not going to be among the 150,000 going down for the parade.
Oh, I probably will. But I'm going to take the yacht.
You're a slugger.
I'm going to take the yacht, and we're going to park offshore. So.
Swim in.
No,
No, just sit out there.
No, we'll have one of the crew will take us in on one of the dories. Swim,
Wow.
please.
You're living big. Of all the cities in the United States, which one do you think is at the top of the Wall Street Journal /Realtor.com Emerging Housing Markets Index for the third straight quarter as affordable Midwestern cities continue to attract home shopping demand?
Which city?
Yep,
I don't know. Muncie, Indiana.
you're close. Lafayette and West Lafayette, Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Second place, Fort Wayne.
Yeah, see, right in the center there.
Third place, Elkhart, Goshen, Indiana. And then it skips a kind and drops down to South Bend, Mishawaka, 9th place. But Bloomington, Illinois, Sioux City area, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Columbus, Ohio. I don't understand that one at all. I was not impressed with Columbus, Ohio. I don't think of that as a fast-growing, affordable.
I don't know about the fast growing, but I do know that anytime you get a big university like that, they offer a lot of peripheral activities that these
Yes.
guys use part of their parameters. You know,
Yep.
is there the arts available? Is there the theater
Hospitals,
available?
teaching
Hospitals, that kind of
yeah.
stuff. They get points for all that
Yeah.
stuff, and that's how they get on that list.
Topeka, Kansas,
All right.
Johnson City, Tennessee,
Yeah.
and Kingsport, Bristol
Yeah.
in Tennessee and Virginia. Yeah. So this
Bristol's
is,
a nice area.
yeah, this is where the growth is highest in the country.
Oh, the
It
growth
is
is high.
affordable growth.
Affordable growth. Huh?
Yeah. Now, I personally like it out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It would be a good place to raise your kids, to
Yeah.
raise a family. Years ago, it was sort of like there wasn't much there
There's
to do.
farms and sticks.
Now things have spread all over.
Yeah.
You know, and people are much more mobile today too, because you live in, I don't know, Horseshoe, Indiana. There, they still get on airplanes and they go to California or Florida or stuff like that today.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's part and parcel of what we were talking about not too long ago, about grandparents not being in people's lives anymore. We're too bloody mobile, you know?
Yeah.
If the grandparents go someplace to retire, you and your family go someplace because you get transferred to another division.
Yeah. That's how we got here.
Yeah, and that's, you get all split up.
But you know, years ago, I said, well, geez, why don't, like our friends that live in Texas, they found places down there, and they said, well, we're not leaving. We're just, like it was an Austin area. And the real estate was just unbelievably inexpensive then. And, they bought a home that's probably worth $1.5 million today, easy, in Texas, for peanuts of what it would be today. And like they said, the weather's good. It does get hot a couple months in the summertime, but in the wintertime and in January you might get 1 or 2 nights it drops below freezing, but that kills the damn bugs off. And the rest of it, 8 or 10 months, it's nice.
Now, that home that you're talking about up in Buffalo, New York, it probably reach 6 figures, but that's about it.
Yeah, if that.
If that.
Maybe
If that.
maybe 700,000 or 800,000.
Oh, I was thinking of even lower than that.
Okay.
A lot lower than that. Buffalo, New York, the housing values up there all the way down to Erie, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
right along the lake.
Yep.
They're in the toilet. I mean, you can buy a beautiful little home in Buffalo for $75,000,
Oh, yeah.
$80,000. But something involved, they called the winter.
Something, yeah, that's something, all right.
But yet, in the spring, the summer, and the fall, Erie, Pennsylvania is beautiful.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right on the lake, fishing, swimming, the temperatures. It's just when the snow flies that it gets.
So my granddaughter's going to find out.
Oh, she's going out there?
She's going to Syracuse this fall.
Boy, let me tell you something. That snow belt comes right down off the lake, right
into
down to Syracuse. It's got a bullseye on Syracuse.
I said, do you know how much snow there is and how cold it gets? She says, I don't care. I can do it. They came down to Syracuse in South Carolina. I said, well, I know which one I'd have taken.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been tough to figure
That's
that
right.
one out. Well, Nantucket reports that there has not been one call to the police department about the topless bylaw.
Well, I didn't expect any.
Well, you didn't expect old Aunt Gertrude to call up
Maybe,
and
but she'll just cluck. And
well, the police department is surprised
Yeah.
They thought that they would be getting complaints.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I would
Yeah.
say surprised. But I agree. I think that they really did think that they were going to get a lot of bluff over it.
Well, in the Lieutenant MacIver that they talked to said that the worries about buses or boats diverting to Nantucket for some ogling have proven to be a bit ridiculous. They have not had one call about an ogler. Yeah.
No. The longer it goes on, the less
The less
attractive.
less people pay attention
That's
to
right.
it, the less of a story it is, and then it's business as usual.
Yep. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
It's not my question, it's Globe's. On Sunday they have
Yes.
last Sunday was, should Massachusetts expand eligibility for unemployment compensation benefits to striking workers? Of course, they always have the yes and they have the no side.
The union guy says yes.
Oh, absolutely. The guy that says yes, he's the business manager of IBEW local. That was a surprise.
Wow. What
That
a
was
shock.
shocker that he'd be on the yes side.
Yeah. He's a wild and crazy guy.
Of course, the other guy is the state director. Okay, got it. 10. He's the state director of the National Federation of Independent Businesses.
You know, when you join a union, you expect certain benefits from it. But then to turn around and say, but I want all the non-union taxpayers
To pay
to
for it.
pay us when we walk
Yeah.
off the job.
That's right.
But yet, if you stayed home off the job, you don't get paid.
No.
But strikers want to get paid. No, that's bad business.
I agree. That if you want to strike, you strike.
That's right.
If the union doesn't pay your salary at that time, or too bad. Don't strike.
Just one quick blurb. Walmart workers have solved somewhat their trucking problems by training their own people. Who wants to be a long distance truck driver? And they put them through a 12 or 16 week school.
That's smart.
Throw them in the truck, give them some OJT, and then you're on your own. Starting salary. These people were averaging $50,000 a year pay.
Mhm.
Starting salary for a cross-country truck driver, $110,000.
That's right.
We missed our calling, Dwayne.
I know we did. Cheaper.
Hey, I saw that thing on top.
Yeah.
Did you get any intelligence out of that, or any?
That's some, but it's so. Did you notice the first article in the first is about two guys?
Yeah.
And the one inside, there's 4 articles. The other, another one about 2 guys. They just could not stop and play it straight.
Yeah.
They had to have 50% of it gay.
You
Right.
know, what we're talking about, folks, is an article that was in the Wall Street Journal about this proliferation of free sex. Is that ruining sex for all of us?
Yeah, that's
Kind of
that's the gist of it.
Yeah. Well, I had some thoughts on it. That's why I gave that to you, to see if you had the same thoughts I had.
What'd you think?
Well, I think it is. Okay, I think the hookup mentality doesn't. Yeah, it does. It dehumanizes sex.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have clubs. I was in one once, and before we go, oh, Billy, oh, what were you doing there? I was traveling with a young guy, a salesman, for my rep down in New Jersey. He says, hey, he says, would you mind if we stopped and went into Studebaker's lounge? We're at the end of the day. We
Which
made
Bill-
our sales calls.
Bill said, "Oh, I like cars."
That's right. I said, fine. Yeah, what the hell? I'm off duty now. You're off duty. He says, I have an ex-girlfriend who called me, and we chatted a couple of nights ago. She says, I'm going to be at Studebaker's Friday night. Why don't you drop in? And he said, well, maybe I will. He said, I know I got to take you back to your hotel. I know you want to go home tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he said, would you mind if we stopped here for a half an hour? I'll buy you a beer. Well, it was interesting because I'm 52 years old when this happened. Certainly not in the prime of life. Bedraggled old goat. And this girl comes up to me and starts talking to me. I would say she was 25 or 30. And she says, you're a nice guy. I said, yeah. She says, would you like to go back to my apartment with me? I said, sweetheart, if I had met you 30 years ago, and we'd be waltzing out the door right now, but I am a very happily married man, and I'm here with the kid I'm working with. He's looking for an ex-girlfriend. I said, I'm just having a beer. But let me tell you, you've flattered an old man. And she goes, and walks on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But to me, sex is something, passion has got to be involved. I'm not saying you have to fall in love with, but it has to be exciting. It has to be passionate. It has to be enthusiastic. Walking up to somebody and saying, hey, I want to have sex.
That happens.
I know it does. That's
And
exactly
it's different
how
today.
it happens.
Things are so different. When I got out of college, I had been in the service, and then I went back to got a different degree and a different. I went to work for a company that was female majority. It was a retail, mass merchant. The stores were probably they were big, huge things like Walmart's, and bigger Walmart. They were probably 85, 90% female. It's just the way they were.
That's
Then
it.
I got in corporate here, again, it was 75% female, easy, maybe 80. Because those days they still had typing pools
Oh, sure.
and stenos and all that secretary stuff. Well, I was actually, and I shouldn't have been, but I was kind of taken back sometimes with what the girls would come up to you and say things to you. I joined their bowling team. One of them says, after bowling, would you go home with me? She says, I haven't had it in 6 months.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, we've been having prowlers in the neighborhood, and I
No.
need you to guide me home.
No, she just wanted me to go home with
Yeah.
her for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And I'm flabbergasted. Actually, I said, I'm not shocked, or I am. I'm surprised. I said, and I'm kind of pleased that you picked me, but I'm not available.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, if I'd have been 21, 22, single, hell, I'd have been
She was, have had instant company.
exactly. But I said, where in my whole life I never had a girl come up and just say, "Would you? I need it."
Yeah. And then you go, and she's
Of
nameless,
course, I
faceless,
told my wife.
and it
You know what?
becomes a mechanical act.
You know what my wife's reaction was? That pig. I said, no, she was not. She's a good-looking young lady.
Yeah. She said to herself, I can score the big guy. Yeah. But, no, it just, I just think it lowers the bar down to just nameless
Yeah, it has come.
mechanical acts.
It has certain groups that come down to that, and I think that's the attitude that it has come down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we don't got a new scam.
Okay.
It's an old scam, but it's
There's a new one.
it's spreading. Those QR things, those little things you're supposed to take
Yeah,
a
yeah.
picture of. Be careful now. They're putting them on parking meters, because I guess different cities now, you can take your cell phone and you just go up to this thing and
Boop.
yeah, it just takes it and you charge your cell phone. Where they're putting those QR stickers, and people thinks that, well, I'll just take a picture of this. That QR sticker is not for that. That QR sticker is a hack. And once you pick that picture of that QR thing on those parking meters, you've opened up your whole system to
Oh
malware
boy.
and everything else.
Yeah, I read something about that, not that same thing, but something about it. Said put your finger on there and make sure
If it's a sticker.
If it's a sticker, go away.
Get away from it. Yep. Because they're putting
And
them
yet,
on.
maybe 5% of the people get that message,
Yeah,
and
they're
the
putting
other
them on
95
ATM
are still
machines,
going
too.
boop boop. Yes.
And when you do this, it opens up to, and then you go do your ATM thing. They're recording your account number, your password, your numbers, everything.
When you put your phone up there,
Yep.
anything that's on your phone
It's going to be
is
theirs.
gone.
Yep.
It's fair game. Well, we've covered a lot of stuff, and we haven't gotten to the main big article I wanted to talk about. Young hires of 2023 are totally unprepared.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very,
Absolutely.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll have to tackle that next week, next couple of weeks, along with a bunch of other stuff. So, folks, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, one other thing.
Yep.
The 12th of this month, Perseids meteor shower. If you get a clear night, go outside. It's worth it.
Really?
Yep, you're gonna.
Did you go outside and look at the blue moon the other? Not the blue moon, but the full moon.
Super moon.
Yeah, super moon.
And we will have a blue moon this month.
Yes, August 30th.
30th, and the super moon will be back also.
Yes, and that will be as close as it comes to the Earth.
Yep.
I think the one that already has been was 60 miles closer,
Closer
than
than
this one's going to be, but you can't tell the difference.
If you don't get it, you don't gotta wait till 2037.
That's right. 2037 is correct.
And Bill and I will be here, but we don't know about you guys.
We'll be stuffed standing in a corner.
Yeah, right.
Like a cigar store Indian. Hey, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
Be good.